Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic and an intriguing puzzle that's come from Ore in Hungary today. We'll have a look at that in a moment. Now, don't forget that on Patreon we've got the Quinlux Build Your Own Sudoku Hunt. We are getting entries in every day, but it's not hundreds every day because that's a tough hunt. Well done to anybody who's completed all the puzzles in it. It really isn't simple. Now, we are going to be bringing out a more straightforward hunt, in fact, on 2 levels as our May Patreon reward in 3 days' time. So we're looking forward to bringing you that. That will be on Patreon at 4 p.m. our time in 3 days from now. Now, what else have we got going on? So just the regular stuff on the channel, as well as Simon having done a crossword solve this week. We've got the solution videos to last month's Patreon content up on Patreon. We've got our apps getting updated almost as we speak. So if you've bought our apps in the past, or if you've been thinking about buying them, more puzzles now. And of course, you can check out Sven's Sudoku Pad and the Discord server and our catalogue, etc. on the links under the video. But this puzzle, now we did a puzzle by Ore a couple of weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, involving rotations and reflections. It was very popular with solvers. And well, I was going to say this is a relatively simple puzzle, certainly in terms of the rules, certainly in respect or in relation to yesterday's snooker puzzle from Appio. This has many fewer rules, but I suppose it still has 3 or 4. And in fact, the title is our own creation, Assassinate, because I think the original title it came under was 8x8 Irregular Killer Arrow Sudoku, which doesn't trip off the tongue. So the rules are summed up, however, in 8x8 Killer Arrow Irregular Sudoku, in that this is an 8x8 puzzle. So we're not using the digit 9. We're using 1 to 8 in every row, column, and region. The boxes are not normal. They're sort of odd-shaped regions here that each contain 1 to 8. Digits along an arrow. This is normal enough. Sum to the digit in that arrow's circle. They can include repeats, I think only on this arrow, it looks like. Digits in a cage, sum to the small number in the top left corner. None of these cages are of a shape that would allow a repeat by Sudoku rules, so that's fine. We're going to obey those. Each row, column, and region contains the digits 1 to 8. It's not quite normal Sudoku rules, but pretty normal, that bit. So do give this a try on the link under the video. You will, 8x8, you never know. It could be very tough, or it might not be. You'll have to judge maybe from the video length or just your feeling about this. I'm going to start now, so let's get cracking. Yeah, let's get cracking where? Okay, there's got to be a 1 on all the 3-cell arrows, apart from that one, which could be 2, 3, 2. So the reason that one in the top left isn't included is because it changes box. These don't, so they have to be different digits. And we can't use a 9, so in fact, these digits in the circles are 6, 7, or 8. Even this, well, that's at least 4. That's not thrilling. That's at least 3. Okay, 2-cell arrow, not so helpful. No doubt that'll turn out to be the most helpful arrow in the entire puzzle in due course, but not so far. So, 1's pencil marked in various places. Now, what does that mean? Not a lot, frankly. Sorry if you're hearing building noises. They are still carrying on building those flats next door after 16 months of this. I don't know what they can have left to hammer or drill, but there we go. Now, what else can we do here? 12 cage, not that thrilling. None of these cage totals looks very useful. Even the 2-cell ones both have 3 possibilities. Right. The law of leftovers might be interesting. Yes, okay, here's something. It's not that good, but it's something. these two cells are the same as these two cells in some order. Now, how do I know that? Well, actually, I suppose this is kind of a really basic form of set theory. So if you highlight these three regions, which must contain three sets of the digit 1 to 8 in one colour, and then you highlight these three columns, which must also obey that rule and contain three sets of the digits 1 to 8 in another, and then eliminate the common digits between those. So shake those out of your two Scrabble bags, if you like Simon's set theory metaphor. Then it turns out that what you've got left over from the columns is those two, and what you've got left over from the shapes, from the regions, is those two. So they have to be the same. And now that means that this circle is summed by those three digits. You could almost draw another arrow down here. And that means they must contain a 1, because again, they all see each other. So somewhere in these three cells, there's a 1. And that means there isn't a 1 in those two. Because of those three, we know there isn't a 1 in those two. So the 1 in this region is in the final column. And that is not thrilling, as I say. But nonetheless, actually, there was a much simpler way of determining that, because these ones prove there isn't a 1 there. These ones prove there isn't a 1 there. Oh, well. Anyway, these two are the same as these two. Actually, let's leave them in the same colour. By the same token, these two are the same as these two. If you compare the three shapes that occupy column 1 and 2 with the three shapes, with the three columns, 1, 2, and 3. Now these two are the same as these two. Okay, that's more interesting. I think, yes, that is more interesting. Okay, so now I'm looking at the bottom three rows and noticing that the shape of those is very similar to what we might call the bottom three shapes, which instead include those two cells instead of those two. So these two have the same values as these two. Now I'm pretty sure that whatever goes in here, 6, 7 or 8, can't go in here, because the biggest number we can get in there is a 5. So that is that. Okay, so let's get rid of the purpleness there. Oh, I don't know, no, let's keep the purpleness. Let's make that a colour we can actually see, like red. Those two are the same, those two are the same. Now they could be 1s. That's interesting. Because these three arrows add up to that circle, these three now add up to that circle as well. Right, that has triggered me. Yes, now that we know that that is the same as that, that's really interesting. This can't be 6, 7 or 8. That's why I find that interesting, which we discovered when we were wondering where this cell goes in those two. But once this can't be 6, 7 or 8, this can't be either. Now, where does the third digit from 6, 7 or 8 go in this row? Well, not on these arrows, because they have to be from 1 to 5. So this cell is 6, 7 or 8. That appears in one of these two, but it also means we have a triple in the row. And what I was just going to observe, I think this is important. I don't know. Yes, it is. Look, those three add up to that one. So, if they were if this was 6, these would be 1, 2, 3. The smallest these could be is 4 and 5, and that's far too many for the arrow. So that's not 6. I think 7's not going to work as well. If that was 7, these, remember they're the same as these, would be 1, 2, 4, 6, 8 there. These would be 3 and 5, and that's too many by 1 for the arrow. If you put 3 and 5 there, you could put a 1 there, but it would bust this circle. So that is not a 7, that's an 8. There's our digit, we've got 1. Now let's do the maths again. These three add up to 8. That's the same as these three. So if they add up to 8, that's 8, and 8 is 16, and 7 and 6 is 29. Now, do you know what to subtract that from to get the value of these two? 36. The secret, as it applies to 8x8 Sudoku, is that every row, column, and region adds up to 36, because that's the total of 1 to 8. I got that by taking my normal secret number, 45, and deducting 9. So what was I deducting from 36? I think I was deducting 29. So these two add up to 7. Yeah, that makes sense. If these were 1, 2, 5, this would have to be a 3, 4 pair. If they were 1, 3, 4, that would be a 2, 5 pair. So they do add up to 7. So that's a 1, and that's another 8, and we are away, sort of. Now, if that's a 1, that's not. Got a 1 there, a 1 there. One of these three is a 1 in column 3. There go the bangers and hammerers. Now I want to put a 1 in there. No, I don't really know where 1 goes here. Oh, that's strange. Okay. That is either 2, 5 or 3, 4. I was going to say, so that is 2, but I don't know that. Ah. So does this peter out here? Now, this has become 6 or 7. So there is a 2 on this arrow. It's either 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 4. That is 6 or 7 because it's the same as that. So look, we've got a 6, 7 pair, and those go in the purple cells. Oh, I'm glad I marked those. That's right, isn't it? Yes, by the law of leftovers, by the comparison of these three shapes with columns 1, 2, 3, that is a 6, 7 pair. That has to be the same as that by the bottom 3 rows. Oh, it's lovely how these things integrate in this puzzle. So we've got a 6, 7 pair there, 6, 7 pair there. This is really important in the 8 cage because that can't be a 7 because we're not allowed to put a 1 there. So we get a 6 there and a 6 there, a 2 next to it. That's a 7. That doesn't fix what these are. Ah, but the 2 does fix what these are. They add up to 7 without a 2. So they're 3, 4. This is now a 1, 2, 5 arrow. That's blue. That's the same as that. So that's 1, 2, 5 as well. Let's get rid of the purple colouring because I don't need it anymore. Now, in this box, this is a 5 nakedly sitting there. 8 and 1. Right, this is neat. Where does 8 go in this shape? Well, not in those 3 cells because of that. Not there because of the arrow. That would have to be a 9 or more. Not here. Why do I say that? Because of the yellow colouring. We don't have an 8 there. These are from 1, 2, 5. In fact, this one must be a 1 because it can't be 2 or 5. So that's now not a 1. Sorry, and 8, which was the whole point of this, goes in the circle. These two add up to 8. They don't involve a 7 or a 6, so they're 3 and 5. I need a 2 and a 4 to complete this cage. That is so pretty. This is a very clever puzzle, by the way. 3, 6 are a pair there, 4, 7 on the bottom row. That's and remember, yellow has to equal yellow. So forget 4, that has to be a 2. And this is now a 1, 2 pair. And we've fulfilled the brief there. This is a 5. That's not a 5. That's 1 or 2. This is a 4, obviously. Now, 8, 4, 1, 2. We've got 3, 5, 6, and 7 left to put in the column. The only pair of those that make 11 is 5, 6 now. 3, 7. So everything here is 1, 2, 4, or 8. And I know that 8 is not on that arrow. This is so elegant. Now what? Don't know about this. Don't know much about that. We've kind of done that. 1, 2. 1, 2 can't be in that cell. In fact, yes, there is a 1, 2 on the arrow. They now have to be in those 2 cells together. And that's 3 or 4 to make that 6 or 7. Now that gives us a 3, 4 pair. I'm going to Goodliffe the rest of those cells. 5, 6, 7, and 8 to go in the column. 6, 7 can go in those 3 cells in that box, in that region. This isn't that useful. 12 cage. Yes, okay. It has to have a 1 or a 2 in it now. The only other possibility of it not having a 1 or 2 is to be 3, 4, 5. Now that was possible until a moment ago when that cell became 3 or 4. Now 3, 4, 5 can't be put in there because you'd kill that cell. You'd assassinate it. So this has a 1 or a 2, and that has the other 1 or a 2 in this region. So neither of these cells have a 1 or a 2. And in the row, therefore, there's a 1 or a 2 there and a 1 or a 2 there. So this one is not 1 or 2. Oh, this is even better. Look, the red cell is going to have to be in the 12 cage. I think this is better. Oh no, look, what's even better is where does 7 go in this row? That's better still. Because look, we've pencil marked these so heavily, none of them involves a 7. And that can't be a 7 because of that. So the 7 in the row goes in here. And I think that means red is 7. Because the red in this row has to be in this cage. And if red was 6, 7 and 6 is already 13. So maybe we can work out... Well, no, I can't. I know there's a 7 in here. I don't know if it's 714 or 723. So... but now I know where 6 goes in the row. That's rather pretty. Can't go there, and these don't allow it for the pencil marks. So 6 goes here. I think I do know. Let me just check this logic. Oh, can these be red 6s and that be a red 6? No. Yes. I don't know, and that could be a 6. Okay, forget what I was saying about red. I don't think that is resolved yet. Right, if this was 7, 3, 2, we'd have 4, 1, 8, 6. This would be a 5. If this was 7, 1, 4, 8, 6, 3, 2. Oh yes, this has to be a 5. It's the only place 5 can go in the row. So that's not a 5. Now, here is a relationship that I have not mentioned or thought about as far as I remember. The top 3 rows, a bit like the bottom 3 rows, are very similar to the shape of those 3 regions, with those 2 sticking out while those 2 stick in. Now, by the law of leftovers, these 2, let's make them green, have to be the same as those 2. So one of them's a 6 and the other is 4 or 8. That's not a 5 anymore, which is unsurprising. Do I know? I don't think I know which one is which. It doesn't work quite the same way as the red did down here. Okay, but surely we've got something else from that. 3 is in one of those 2 cells. It's not everything. Now, 1 and 2 have been used between these. Oh, well, they're also in a pair in this row. So these can't contain 1 or 2 or 7. Right, the 5 in this row can't be in any of those cells, so it's in one of those 2. That's not thrilling, is it? Oh, okay, I'm getting a bit bogged down now. Now, let's go back to these red. I was absolutely certain that red was in there, but why can't that... Okay. No, that could still be red. That could be red. They could all be red 6s. Yeah, there's no reason why not for me at the moment. 7, 3... Wow, I can't see it. This is 3, 4 or 8 because it sees 5, 7 and 6 and a 1, 2 pair. So we've still got 1 and 2 to place up here. I bet they're on the arrow. But they might not be. We could put an 8 there. And then we'd still have 3 or 4 to go. So I'm not sure about that. Oh, 8 is looking at that cell. So that's not an 8. Don't think that helps actually. Right, just keep thinking, getting stuck now. If that was 723, we'd have a 1 here. That would be 468. If that's 741, oh, the only place for 8 in this row is there, in the green. So there's got to be an 8 in green, and it's there. Right, so this is 6. Oh, well, that's gonna deal with it. Okay, so red is 7, as I always knew. I didn't, but we've proved it now. That's an 8. That's all it can be. Take 8 out of those. In fact, this is now a 7 because it sees that 6 as well. Feels like 1, 2, 4, but I don't know that yet. This is a 5, 6 pair at the top. That's not an 8. That's not an 8. That's not an 8. Ah, so there's a 2 on this arrow. And that's not a 2. But there has to be a 1 or a 2 in this cage, so it has to be here now. So in fact, that is a 1, 2 pair, which gets me nothing. Oh, come on. 6. I thought I'd done this. Oh, that's not an 8. This is now a 3, 4 pair. So 8 in this column can't be on the arrow. It's up in the cage. This is a 1, 2 pair. So that is a 4. It is a 1, 2, 4 arrow, as I suspected. Now, how's this coming along? Dunno. 15, 17... maximum of 23, minimum of 14, not very helpful is how it's coming along. Ah, this is a 3, 4 pair because of the 1, 2 pair that's emerged here. So 3 and 4 there, this becomes a 1, 2 pair on the arrow. 3, 4, 7 triple fixes this as a 6. That must be where 5 goes in the column. Now this box has got a 1, 2, 8, 5. It needs a 6 and 3 or 4 in these cells. Oh, that's part of a 4. Oh, right. 5 in the final column has to be there. That's useful. That gets me a 6. I'm tempted to add up this row. Let's just see. Oh, no, look. I've got a 3 and a 4 to put in the box. That's better. Right, now, surely, if I add up those 9 plus those 20 is 29. Take that away from 36. These two have to add up to 7. I know what they are now. And that's fixed the arrow, and I think that's fixed the puzzle. 8 and 7. That's a 3. That's a 2. This adds up to 20. Yes, 2 pairs that add up to 10. There we go. That's the top 3 rows done. Can't do those 3 4s or that 1 2. This has become a 4 though. That flips down to the bottom. This becomes a 7. That's a 3. And now I can use this cage finally to disambiguate the rest. 1 2. Oh, this arrow needed a 4 on it. I didn't spot that. Ever since we fixed red as 7, that had become obvious apparently. 2, 1, that's a 6, and one number to finish off. We put a 6 in here and we're done. And there we go. That is a very neat 8x8 puzzle. I really like that. It's a very good demonstration of the law of leftovers. So the bottom 3 rows, the top 3 rows, the left 3 columns and the right 3 columns, I should have noticed that sort of symmetry, all contributed to that. But this row seemed very key in working out the sort of effective sum there of that circle. Really interesting puzzle. Some lovely steps in that. And thank you very much to Ore for sending it. And thank you, as always, for watching the channel. Hope to see you again soon. Probably back for some gas tomorrow, I would think. But as it is, bye for now.